Hello Munchkins and viewers alike, it's me Munchie and welcome to a Munchie Talk. Today's video topic is me telling to you guys about how I rescue and foster and what typically goes into what you see here on the channel. So I've been meaning to get this video up for a while so you guys can understand what I do here, what my mission is, and how I can impact you guys as well as the community and pets around me. I don't really call myself rescue because I'm not really an official rescue. I basically have my own schedule. A rescue typically operates under a certain guideline. I do have guidelines too, but because I am operating by myself and with my partner, we are just soloing it for right now. So it's just two people and it's just a small space where we try to dedicate our time to small animals. We might not be operating this forever. This is possibly going to have some burnouts at one point where it's just so repetitive. That is very typical, especially when it comes to people who just begin fostering and take in animals and then for so long have been doing the same thing over and over and over again and have not given themselves a break. So there will be a point in my life when I will have a break. So I'll talk about that a little bit later, but let's get into what it's like to be me. So besides just seeing the YouTube personality of myself, I am taking care of a bunch of animals in this room as we speak. Each animal has specific needs, specific personality, and each come with a different story. Now, the reason why I even rescued to begin with is because I, first of all, started fostering cats back in 2016, and then I branched out to small animals back in 2018 in the spring / about to be springtime because I saw a need for small animals in my area. Not many shelters will take in small animals, and so I started to see a lot of people surrender animals to, say, Petco, some attempting to surrender to PetSmart. PetSmart supposedly has been changing their policy to allow surrenders. There has been shelters that have been taking in small animals and or they've been shooing people away, and I just needed to jump in on this because I felt like there was too many on Craigslist needing homes because they tried other places with no success. So I hated seeing those horrible pictures of hamsters or small animals in very outdated care and or in neglectful situations, and or if the owner just screams like, I hate this animal, I want it out. I wanted to step in and help. So that's how the foster home became. Now, before you even decide to start fostering, there is two methods. There's fostering through a rescue, partnering through rescue and shelter, or there is solo fostering where you take an animal, you put in all the love, attention, time, care, money, needs, all that stuff into this animal. That is your responsibility and you must take care of it if you even intake an animal. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's the same way as if you are taking in your own pet. But when I take in animals, I want to make sure that I have enough time, that I have enough money, that's important, and that I'm not going out there and taking in animals that I cannot properly care for because of just money restrictions and time restrictions. I need to make sure that I have enough money, enough supplies to distribute evenly amongst them all, meaning their food, their bedding, how many wheels I need, what size wheels do I need, how many chew toys. There's reoccurring costs for fostering. So you gotta set yourself up to succeed, because if you are setting your expectations too high, then you start to crash. And sometimes, even for me, it gets kind of overwhelming, especially with the 3 litter intakes I did back to back to back in 2018. Not many people understand how many mouths I was feeding at the time, and I haven't really talked about one of the litters because I just didn't want to feel overwhelmed, and I had a very big reaction to the previous litter, which was Ginger's litter at the time. And so I had back to back to back litters where I had 6 adult Syrian hamsters in a litter. I had another 6 baby Syrian hamsters, and then I had 10 baby Syrian hamsters, and that was very overwhelming, but thankfully they were all rehomed, so it's wonderful news there. So there's a lot of decision making, and even though I absolutely love animals and I want to do the best I can for them, I need to, like I said before, have limits and know my restrictions and know them well, because if I sacrifice, say for instance, one animal's care so I can take in another animal's care, that's not good. So I want to have 2 animals I can take care of, not that I'm sacrificing to take care of another. And then another thing people are not aware of is how far I travel for these guys. For rescuing, I go to the extremes. I will travel very far to get these guys. A lot of you guys were asking me when I started to announce that I rescue animals, and you saw my rescues and such, that, oh, you should rescue this in New York, you should rescue this in Oklahoma. As I want to remind my fellow Munchkins and viewers out there, I am not a genie or a magical person that can teleport across the world to try to save and or rescue. If you want to help out your animals in your community, please on your own time understand how to network to get this animal seen by the right people, whether it be Facebook groups, social media, etc. You also have a voice out there. It's just people rely on me. They rely on me to rescue this, or oh, we know you're in Washington. That means you can rescue everything in Washington, right, Munchie? Unfortunately, no, I cannot do that either. So I want to make it clear, guys, reasonable limitations. You gotta remember that. I am not made of money. YouTube is not really a money grabbing thing right now. It does help since getting monetization back, and that's a really great thing when it comes to donations and or monetization to be able to bring in some income for the foster home, but it's not going to pay all the bills and you should not expect to live off of something like that. So another thing is my time and energy going to get these guys. I also have a job. So I am not just taking care of the animals, I'm also taking care of myself and my animals and my personal animals at home. So it is a lot to deal with. When do I have time to take care of these animals? I always take care of the nocturnal animals at night, and I'm always making sure that I'm constantly having a schedule to clean the animals. It's always good to spot clean weekly for some of these guys and to deep clean monthly for their enclosures. Moving on to donations. I have opened up a wish list for donations for anybody who wants to help out my foster home, because sometimes I can take care of myself, but others want to chip in and help out, which is wonderful. I'm not asking you guys to, I'm giving you the option if you want to, as well as people ask me if I have a PO box so they can help send stuff that they personally have made, as well as people have asked for PayPal, which we are not going to do because I want you guys to see where your items are going to, because if you just donate money, you don't know how that is going to be used. And even though money would be great for certain scenarios where I'm like, oh shoot, vet bills, vet bills, vet bill, vet bills. Those are very hard and sometimes are just completely unannounced. They just come out of the blue, especially during the first intakes. When we get the intakes and they're in not great of a condition and or we're noticing symptoms, we gotta go to the vets. Yes, I do have 2 vets set aside. One is a main vet, one is another vet that I just have off in case of emergencies. Both of them, unfortunately, taking cats and dogs, so they are always booked. A lot of the times people don't understand that when I announce that one of our animals does have a condition and I'm trying to get them in or I have them scheduled in a week, people are saying that that's not good enough. So rescues partner with specific vets. If you have a trusting vet that you completely trust with all of your heart, then that is a vet to go to. There is also emergency vets for emergency situations, but sometimes a lot of the people over-exaggerate when it comes to a very big emergency. I had somebody comment saying they need to go get Molly's nails trimmed ASAP because that was an emergency. That was not an emergency, and we ended up trimming Molly's nails when we did have her in our foster home. That is not an emergency. An emergency is if a hamster was bleeding, if something was horribly wrong, if they couldn't breathe, they had a broken spine or leg. Those are critical emergencies. Need to see a vet ASAP. We have a third vet, and that is the emergency vet, where it is, I want to say, about maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours away from where we live, but in case of emergencies, we have that vet as well. We are responsible enough to actually set aside money to have these animals seen. Now, sometimes we take in animals and we think there's something wrong with them, take them to the vets, and it turns out they're completely fine. The average, I believe, if I can remember correctly, for a vet bill for a hamster in my area was around $56. Not too bad. And the x-rays, I remember when I got Bonbon checked out, was, I want to say, anywhere from $60 to $80. So our time and money is divided everywhere. The next thing is getting these guys adopted out. When I go to list up their ad on Craigslist and or any other rehoming sites, people are submitting constantly their applications. And we have a screening process where people must be approved in order to adopt from us and meet the requirements for the animals specified in the ad. You don't know how many times we've actually had to deal with very frustrating people who do not understand how to look at the requirements or to even check what the ad says specifically. They just want a hamster and they just want to throw it in whatever they have at home, which a lot of the times does not qualify as good hamster husbandry. So unfortunately, there's been a lot of denying, there's been a lot of arguing, and there's been a lot of very stupid emails. Oh, so many stupid emails. So you try to do your best to let people know these are the requirements. If you cannot meet them, I am sorry. This is not the animal for you. You can look elsewhere. Have a nice day. But people take things to heart, unfortunately, but you gotta remain professional in the very end. And that's what I try to do when being approached when it comes to the small animals. Always be professional, especially during rescues as well as to intake. Now, there's other times too, especially when adopting these out, where I have to meet them in specific areas and we don't travel very far. Because a lot of people don't know that for my my rehoming fees, I list them at $5 or I list them at $8. And this usually is the cost of our gas money. And now we are networking with other people and doing transportation work and hopefully reaching out to people in farther areas. But hamsters, unfortunately, due to their stress levels and immune systems, we have to make the call which hamsters would be good for long periods of travel and which ones would not be okay to adopt out to long distance people who are looking for them. We must make sure the hamster's health is taken into consideration, as well as just the risk of meeting a person that's very far away. And of course, there is the times when there is going to be crisis, especially if you have animals in close proximity, as well as if you accidentally slip up. Say for instance, right now we are going through a horrible mite infestation that I believe I have now finally pinpointed to the food, because the animals were getting bugs in their enclosure, not knowing where they came from. I thought it was their bedding, and then turns out nope, there was a hamster that was isolated with its own bedding, and it turns out they got it anyways, and I believe it is their food. So I've taken out all the wood, and unfortunately some wood I had to throw away completely. Others I sanitized as best as I could, baked it. You can also boil wood as well when you go to foster. You want to make sure that in case of emergencies, you know what to do, you know the procedures, you can ask your friends, you can ask reliable sources if they can help you out, if they have any tips. And I am so glad I am surrounded by loving support. That's another thing that people really need if they go to foster and or to start their own rescue. They need the support. They need to be networking with people who understand what it takes for these guys. I have amazing people I network with all the time. And even if I can't reach the animal, I can network with these people and get the animal seen by the right people. Just by networking, I can help out animals in my area by not just avoiding coming to me, but to go directly to somebody who could adopt them and or foster them themselves. So I'm very happy that I am in such an amazing group who absolutely supports the idea of trying to network, rescue, and foster these guys. So I think that is all I want to say. Besides, I think the last thing to take into consideration is my own personal health and care. People do not understand that, you know, what I do for the animals. Sometimes I neglect myself, which is unfortunate because sometimes you don't understand something until it's like right there in your face and saying, hey, stop and breathe. Take care of yourself for a little bit. Relax. If I burn myself out, I'm not going to be able to pick myself back up so easily. So I have to take care of my health. I have my work, but people need to understand that I have a life outside of YouTube and also to respect my privacy as well. I have a lot of people wanting to contact my Instagram foster home, which is not the appropriate place. So I hope you guys will understand. Please do not contact me there, especially when you can do your own research. And just a little shout out, because this has happened within the last, I want to say, month. I've had 2 fellow Munchkins out there run into me out in public. So hello Munchkins, nice to see you. It was a pleasure talking to you. You guys were wonderful. It's always a shock when I see people that know me and I don't know them, but you know my face, so I'm like, okay, this is cool, but it's also like, oh no, I don't know you. But I hope the Munchkins that I've recently seen did appreciate just talking to me for a little bit and let me go about my way, because I think we need respect too, where even though you see me, a YouTuber, online talking to you about my life, I think that people forget that you are a human being and you're trying to do your own thing while also share your philosophies and the things you appreciate with the world, trying to make it a better place and hopefully shape it as well. Thank you for respecting my privacy. Thank you for also being very respectful towards me when interacting with me. I appreciate it and I love you guys. So I think this is all I want to say. If I want to add more, this is going to be a lengthy video and I apologize, but that's why it's called a Munchie talk, because I love to talk. Yeah. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit like to show your support. Comment down below with anything related to the video, please. Just because sometimes we get off topic here, so I want to be in topic so I can hear what you guys have to say about this video. And subscribe if you want to see more videos from me and be a part of my own Munchkin family as well. So thanks guys, I love y'all, and hopefully in the future you'll see some more videos from me. So sorry that they are coming out so slow, but remember, YouTube is only a side thing. It's not the main course. So I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!